In Lambeau Field, a matchup of teams with championship aspirations on a night where defenses absolutely dominated. Philadelphia 3rd and 1, and everybody at home is going, how hard is it to officiate a play where you've got that? That's just a false start. Just throw the flag. I mean, it isn't complicated. It's not personal.
Jason says it's only a false start because you can see it in slow-mo, Scott.
Well, okay. This is the 16th play of a drive. Philadelphia is into the red zone, but what a remarkable play. Keyshawn Nixon picks it up after it's punched out. Who got it?
Edgerrin Cooper.
Edgerrin Cooper.
Listen, this is such a big part of the game. Remember when Peanut Tillman would do this?
He invented it.
The peanut punch, and now it's something you see across all defenses in the NFL.
And I always hesitate to say it because I feel like I say every single week it's become an art form, but it really has, and you see just how important it is. All right, a 4th down and 1 play here.
Now, this is actually a legal motion right here, Scott.
Just throw the flag. It's fine. I throw flags anytime somebody goes early. All right, so it's scoreless still. Green Bay is in scoring range, except Love feels the pressure.
That's huge right there. Nakobe Dean gets into the pocket. Love is careless with the football. This would have been 3-0 headed into half. Instead, the Philadelphia Eagles have an opportunity to score before the half.
Sirianni loving it, and guess who came up with the football? The new man in town is Jalen Phillips. First scoreless first half of Monday Night Football since 2009. I think that was that rain game in Pittsburgh, wasn't it? Here come the Eagles. Dallas Goedert. Longest play of the game to this point, a gain of 22. And then lining up for a field goal, Jake Elliott. I asked him when we were down here right before halftime, how much does the cold tonight shrink the distance? He said probably about 5 yards. That will become important later. From 39, no problem. It's 3-0. It's still 3-0. You're waiting for a big play, and here it comes. Up top, Devontae Smith, the man that just visited with us. Man, is he elevating his game.
Listen, that was huge. He's been a big-time receiver over the last 5 weeks for Jalen Hurts. They saw the coverage draw up to A.J. Brown. Jalen Hurts over the top to his big play target.
After a PI gets Green Bay a little bit closer, what a season for Josh Jacobs. Last year in his first year in Green Bay, and he continues to be a touchdown machine, and it's a 10-7 game. Eagles give the ball right back. Then on 4th and 1, as we're out here inside the 2-minute warning, there's a flag. It was illegal, either formation or motion. It was formation, I believe it was. Look at the tush-push celebration after the 4th and 1.
Celebration that might have been a little bit petty.
Well, yeah, but you know what? They're like, hey, man, you guys try to get this play out of the game. This play in the game makes no sense to anyone. 4th and 6, what are they doing?
You and I were looking at each other on the sideline like there's no way you snap it and there's no way you run this play. That gave Green Bay an opportunity to get a score.
We were apoplectic at the time. Green Bay actually hit a completion of about 20 yards. Brandon McManus from 64, maybe on a humid night in September or October, but on this below freezing night, no chance. Micah Parsons afterwards said, this is a game we should have won.
I mean, bro, you know, it's hard to say shoulda, coulda, wouldas in this league because if you say you shoulda won, it's like, you lost. Like, but you would like to win games like that. You know, I think even the possession they scored, I just feel like we wish we had that 3rd down back. You know, so that's tough. But yeah, I think we should win these type of games for sure.
Well, unfortunately, there's absolutely no moral victories in our sport, but I was proud of our guys' effort. I thought they battled for 4 quarters. I mean, we knew it was going to be a 4-quarter fist fight, and I thought our defense was outstanding, and unfortunately, just too many mistakes offensively to overcome it. And, you know, I've said this many times, you hold good football teams to 10 points, you should win the football game, in my opinion. But obviously didn't do enough offensively, and you know, we got a short week. Can't feel sorry for ourselves. We got to figure it out and come back and be better.
Ryan, since that's Ryan Clark, by the way, was in on the highlight with me now, and since that's the sound that we're starting with, I'm not going to pivot to Philadelphia just yet. You give up 13 to Cleveland, lose. 16 to Carolina on this field, lose. 10 to Philadelphia on this field, lose. We spent 2 hours before the game talking about championship aspirations. Your defense is good enough. This offense, is this offense the reason why Green Bay cannot be viewed tonight as a championship contender?
100%. We talked last week about the fact that on their resume, there was a blemish against the Browns, the Carolina Panthers. There was also a tie against the Dallas Cowboys. But when your defense is playing at the level that this defense has in those losses, the blame rests solely on the offense, Matt LaFleur, and its quarterback, Jordan Love. We talked before this game that they had to make a play and take an ascension so that Jordan Love could show that this was his team to take to a Super Bowl. This was his team to take to an NFC championship. And what we've seen the last few games hasn't proved that to me. And the other piece is this. There are some pieces missing. So what can Matt LaFleur do that allows Jordan Love some easy completions and opportunities to score?
And when they lost Kraft early in that game against Carolina, you understand how dynamic he is, and in the middle of that and in real time to try to adapt. Okay, but you had a week to get ready for this game, knowing you didn't have him. You are shorthanded at the receiver position. But, I mean, 7 points is all they could get against Philadelphia. You lose your center, I believe it was, in this game. There were a lot of attrition on the offensive line on both sides. But you can't make excuses for
you can't make excuses for not scoring 10 points. You can't make excuses for not scoring 13 points. Listen, it's difficult to be explosive when you don't have your top-tier players, the Matthew Goldens, the Tucker Crafts, but you have to find a way to make
figure it out.
Plays. And you had an opportunity late in that first half to at least get an attempt at a field goal, and you fell there because you turned the football over. And then there was an opportunity to lead Christian Watson across the field there late to get them a chance to kick a field goal, and he threw it up the field instead of toward the sideline.
You tell Coach LaFleur and his group, before this game starts, you're holding Philly to 10. They're figuring, hey,
we won.
We might not blow them out, but this is a game we're winning. They didn't. It's not like Philly was explosive, but they had a couple of plays, Ryan, that got them the one touchdown. How'd they get set up?
Listen, this is beautiful, right? They're up 3-0, and you're going to see Jalen Hurts manipulate the pocket, and this is all going to be about Saquon Barkley and also Quay Walker. Quay Walker is going to get into the line of scrimmage, and here as we start to play, you'll see as Saquon Barkley leaks out, and now Quay Walker is trying to make a decision of whether to continue to go right here. If we pause it, he's going to try to make a decision on whether or not he's going to continue and get to Jalen Hurts, or if he's going to move out to Saquon Barkley, which leaves Valentine one-on-one in the open field with one of the league's most explosive players, Saquon Barkley. Now watch, we're going to get Jalen Hurts with the throw to the outside, and this is a position you don't want to be in. Saquon Barkley with the spin move, now he gets down the sideline.
What'd you explain to me when we were watching the bus? When you're out there on that island with that man in particular?
All you feel is space, right? It's like that little clown from It is hovering around, and you're in a dark room of mirrors. You know that it's going to be a problem. Now, this is a beautiful play. We used to call this a zombie route. They're going to get A.J. Brown up the field and across. And then Devontae Smith, who's going to become the post player, is also going to attack Evan Williams. You're going to get a pump from Jalen Hurts, and then he's going to go over the top to Devontae Smith. Watch Jalen Hurts as he's in the pocket. A.J. Brown gets up the field. When A.J. Brown goes up the field, he's going to pull Xavier McKinney out of the quarter. That gives one-on-one against Evan Williams for Devontae Smith, and now we get a big throw by Jalen Hurts.
Double moves work every time, Coach Hasselbeck. Remember that. I'm amazed at how strong he is for a skinny guy. He has got strong hands, and he is elevating his game in a big way.
But we always talk about it, though. He's a professional receiver, and he's always been that, right? When he was playing for the Bootleggers in Louisiana in high school, he was a guy who could play both ways, hoop, and when he played the wide receiver position, he had a very high acumen, and we see it here now.
Elite route runner, yes, and one of the great receivers in this league. It was a night where points came at a premium. 10 was enough to get Philadelphia. And I couldn't believe they snapped it, and you hand Green Bay an opportunity. I'm curious what you all think of it now.
Yeah, I mean, you know, we're always questioning stuff like that up here, but we're still talking about it here during the commercial when we threw it to you and you take over. We're still talking about it, just kind of surprising. But they end up getting away with it. But to throw that pass downfield, they could have punted. That even booming it out of the back of the end zone, you know, it's 15 more yards of field position. It surprised us, and it gave Green Bay a chance, but they couldn't do anything with it.
Troy, this Philadelphia team is so scrutinized, right? But as I said, they managed to just win and win and win, and they are the reigning champions of the world. I mean, it certainly gives us things to talk about and wonder what the hell is that about. They just win football games. What do you make of them right now?
Well, I still think they're a really good football team. I mean, it's not easy to win here at Lambeau. We certainly understand that. The defense, I thought coming into this game as we move through the rest of the year, the defense is only going to get better. I didn't expect that dominant of a performance that they had tonight in this ball game. But, yeah, this is kind of how they've been. I mean, it's not about style points, and they've never really been about that. And that's how this year has gone for them. I know the way they began the year, played a lot of really good football teams, played a lot of good defensive teams. They did again tonight. They found ways to win, and when you win those games like this one on the road against teams that you think are going to be in contention, but it'll be interesting to see what happens with Green Bay after this game. I mean, this is a type of loss. I mean, it could unravel on you in a hurry. Now they've lost back-to-back games, so we'll see. But I like Philadelphia. I like the toughness and the grit that they've shown, even though it doesn't always look pretty.
Not only have they lost back-to-back games here, Troy, their 3 losses this year, they gave up 13 to Cleveland, lost, 16 to Carolina, lost, and 10 here, lost. I wonder, can you be a championship team if your defense hangs those kind of numbers and you can't outscore?
Well, I've constantly heard that defense wins championships.
Exactly.
So, you know, when you hold a team under 17 points in today's game, teams win those games. I mean,
right.
They win a lot of those games. I think coming into this game, only 6 losses when that's happened, and 2 of those have been with the Packers. Now 3 of the 7 have been with the Packers. So the offense just hasn't been able to find their way. They haven't been at full strength. I know it's frustrating for everybody involved, but this is a concern right now, certainly, by the way that they came out and played tonight and what everyone anticipated to be a really huge game as far as what this is going to do at the end of the season.
Joe, it's Vegas next week. Maybe we catch a show, play some Pai Gow poker. What do you think?
I'm in. Cirque du Soleil. Yeah, whatever you want to do. Just text me. We'll figure it out. Maybe go to the Sphere, see Wizard of Oz.
Whoa, all right. Well, whatever. I'll follow your lead. Look forward to being with you guys out there. It'll certainly be warmer inside in Vegas. Travel well, man. Always appreciate the time.
See you, Scott.
See you, Scott.
Joe Buck, Troy Aikman. The best booth there is, and once again, the Eagle fans have taken over, and I don't think it's personal, Troy, but they are chanting Dallas sucks. That's kind of how Philadelphia rolls.
You know, both sides came out and, you know, played their best ball. I think at the end of the day, it came down to, you know, making a few plays that, you know, that made a difference. And then at the end of the game, just being able, you know, as an offense, we pride ourselves on finishing it with the ball in our hands. We didn't do that, but the defense went out there and closed it out.
About that, you've got the ball in your hand. It's 4th down, and I get it, taking a shot, because maybe you get a PI, and maybe 11 comes down with it, or if they look to you, maybe you do. But we were kind of surprised that you guys made the snap in that situation. Were you?
No, not really, man. You know, we got all the trust in those guys, man. Whatever 1 and 11 want to do, if that's what they call, that's what they want to do, we rolling with it.
The touchdown that you scored, you and your team, you guys had 1. It was 2 plays. It happened like 77 yards in a blink. It's a screen to Saquon, and then it's a shot to you. On a night like this, when you know 7 might be all we need, right? If we get to 10, we might win. How does that sharpen the focus, understanding how important a touchdown is going to be?
Yeah, man, it takes a lot of focus, man. You know, like I said, you got to make those big-time plays. And, you know, with the offense, the way we were struggling, all we were saying was somebody got to go out here and make a play. And, you know, Saquon got the big run before I got the big hit.
I can't help but laugh, and I said it again to Joe and Troy. I mean, you guys are the most scrutinized team that wins and wins and wins, right? You got teams out here that are letting coaches go, and they got teams that are, you know, they're out of playoff contention that thought they might be. You know, I root for one in Washington. It's a banged-up group. I'm not going to make excuses, and that doesn't matter to this conversation. My point is, you guys just win and win and win. Can you describe what it's like to be inside your group, looking outside at all the chatter that surrounds you all?
It only matters what we do inside the building, man. It's only about those guys that's in there, the coaches. You know, when you're having success, you're going to have people that's, you know, going to talk about you, talk down there, going to hate on you. If you ain't got no haters, you ain't doing something right.
Cat Williams taught us that, didn't he? He said you better get some by the end of summer, but you guys just continue to win games however it's required. And I just, the championship mindset of your group, I just feel like it's evident. And does it matter to you guys how you win games?
Nah, it don't matter, man. As long as we come out up top, we got things we need to clean up. That's always, but long flight back. Glad we got the dub.
How would you describe Lambeau? I mean, we had 2 hours in countdown, and obviously, Kelsey's the guy that played with you guys for so long, and I just marvel at what this place is. I mean, it's Green Bay. If you've never been here, it sits in the middle of really nowhere. It's a very small town, and it means everything to them. Is it the kind of thing that you guys kind of take in?
Me personally, yeah, man. I enjoy playing in this atmosphere. First time being here, first time playing in it, man. I enjoyed every second of it.
From what it was described to you as, did it live up to the rep? Because, coming out of the SEC or whatever else, there's gigantic stadiums, and this one is one of the biggest in the NFL. I just feel like the atmosphere is a singular. I don't think there's anything else quite like it.
I would say it's up there with probably the best places I've been. It's definitely up there.
For you personally, I don't have my box score in front of me, but I believe you wasn't a lot of offense, but you had a huge first down catch and a touchdown catch. You've been, between the Minnesota game and this game, I feel like you're really elevating. Have you felt like things starting to click? Because it's obviously been something people wondered about the passing game, and you've really been excellent of late.
Man, that's just the standard we hold ourselves to in our room, man. When the ball comes to you, make the play. And we pride ourselves on that. We're not making no excuses, No matter what the throw is, if it touch our hands, we expect ourselves to make it. And that's just the standard that we hold ourselves to.
All right. Last thing as it relates to the Eagles, looking at kind of the amount of runway left. This was a huge one potentially for home field. How early does the thought about playing in another great home venue, the Link, how early does thought about the possibility of you having home field throughout the playoffs begin in your room?
We just stay the course, man. We focus on it 1 week at a time. At the end of the day, whether we're in the Link or not, we got to go out there and play our brand of football. That's all it comes down to, no matter where you're playing it.
Okay. I believe you. Like one game at a time, I get it, but I do think that in the big picture, you guys know the value of the Link.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely. Like I say, best fans in the world, man. A lot of teams have a lot of problems when they come to the Link.
Man, I root for Washington, man. They made me I put cream cheese head on my head. I mean, they kind of compel you to want to be part of the party, and you gave them something to cheer about tonight, man. Good health the rest of the way. Congratulations on the victory tonight. Thanks for coming out here.
Thank you.
Always. Monte Smith and Philadelphia come into Lambeau, and I'd say they leave them sad, but I don't know how many people there are here, but they're making a...
We had the first Monday Night Football game that was scored. Eagles on the board with the touchdown. Devontae Smith, the Eagles, both offenses, struggling to find something. But now, Packers, their ensuing possession, they return the favor. Josh Jacobs takes this one up the gut for a 6-yard touchdown to make this one now 10 to either tie this one or go ahead. So now, final Eagles possession. Hurts. 4th and 6. No good to A.J. Brown.
I don't like the call. Because you have 4th and 6. They only have no timeouts. Yeah. So you punt the football, whether it falls inside the end zone or at the 20-yard line or whatever, they have to get 60 yards or 45 yards to get into makeable. His longest field goal range of 61 yards, right? So because they botched that, and that's just on top of them botching the other 4th down series that they had, it was total mismanagement of the clock from their entire staff in terms of, hey, let's go forward on 4th down, when to punt it, when to run the ball and not allow them to use their timeouts. Remember that series? It's just like, well, what are you doing in the latter part of the 4th quarter? And it almost cost them the game.
Who's making that call?
Well, at the end of the day, the final call has to come from the head coach. If you're my coordinator, if you're telling me, coach, I think we got a play that we can execute to be able to convert it, I have to say, okay, run it. So I put all of that, the responsibility on the head coach. And to Emery's point, I agree. Philly actually got lucky. Worst case scenario for Green Bay, they should be in extra periods now in terms of that missed decision by Philly to go for it and gave the Green Bay Packers prime field position to attempt a makeable field goal. They just weren't able to convert. That was a telling sign for the Green Bay Packers the entire ball game. The inability to convert or find any rhythm, chemistry within the offense under Jordan Love. But Philly got lucky. It was questionable. I think they should have punted the football because we know long field goals during this time of the year is difficult in Lambeau Field, and allow your defense to finish the drill. Your defense is putting pressure on Jordan Love the entire ball game. If they get the ball on the 20-yard line, for them to go north of 50 yards to be able to get into a makeable field goal range, I didn't think that was likely, but they got lucky.
I think that's what's most mind-boggling for me, because you consider the way that this Eagles defense was able to shut down Jordan Love and his lack of pass catchers, which we'll get into in just a minute, but you're opting instead to go for it on 4th and 6 when you do have the option to punt. But nonetheless, they get away out in this one. But it did take, fellas, until the 4th quarter for both teams to find the end zone. Emery, was this a result just of offenses that were struggling to get going, or do we need to put some more respect on these defensive performances we saw?
Well, if folks watched our pregame show, we talked about the defenses and who had the edge as the front 7, and we gave that to Green Bay. But we also understand that the Eagles have a fantastic front 4, which we saw manifest itself out there on the field and how they were able to collapse the pocket. But I thought things really went south from Green Bay's perspective when Elton Jenkins was out of the ball game up front on the offensive line, because now you lose a guy that can help spearhead the ball, starting to sail out high, which made it easy for the defensive backs to go and play it on the opposite side. For the Eagles, it was more so about them just deciding, hey, are we going to stick with the run game, or are we just going to try to pick plays? I felt like they were calling plays and not running an offense tonight.
Yeah, both defenses really had the upper hand on either offense, right? Especially for 3 quarters of play. But Jalen Hurts made the one necessary play. That long post route to Devontae Smith was huge. The long flare route to Saquon when he made a few guys miss. Those were the 2 defining offensive plays that put them in position to win this ball game. And shouts out to Howie. Right, you talked about the moves he made before the trade deadline. Jalen Phillips was everywhere. He looked like a player that has been a part of this team since training camp in terms of how comfortable he was being involved in the backfield. He had a fumble recovery, 2 quarterback hits, 5 total tackles. He also was involved in that play that led to Josh Jacobs fumbling that gave their offense the necessary possession to work more time off the clock. So defensively, this was a great game for Philly. They needed to do that in a game in which their offense was a bit stagnant. And I don't know what's going on offensively with Jordan Love, but the second straight week in a row that came in the words of a loss, the offense has no rhythm. Before that last drive, I have the numbers here. Jordan Love had 158 yards through the air, 4.9 yards per average per throw. That's not winning football when you talk about his skill set and the talent that he has.
What was fascinating was that, again, going back to what we talked about in the pregame show about who had the edge, look at the Eagles secondary, the much maligned Eagles secondary. I thought they really stepped up and played really well. Everyone on that back end made a play. Quinyon Mitchell made a play. Reed Blankenship got the fumble recovery. We saw McCuba make a
Adoree
big
Jackson
over the top. Adoree Jackson made some plays. So I thought every part of this team, of this matchup, at some point throughout the game really showed up and made a play, or was a reason why they didn't come out on top.
Fellas, I want to talk about the other side of this matchup really briefly, because we did talk pregame. If Saquon Barkley got his mojo back after that Giants game, and he had at some points in this game put the team on his back a bit, but he finished with 101 yards from scrimmage, but still averaging 2.7 yards per carry. Any concerns going forward, Emery?
No, this was mainly matchup based. This is a very good front 7, 2 very good edge rushers, 2 athletic and superior inside linebackers that have no qualms of going downhill and attacking the run game. So the fact that he got to where he got tonight is kudos to him, because this was a very good defensive front 7. So I'm not going to be concerned about the yards per carry or the yards per carry as a team, because this front 7 really can stop the run, because those 2 inside backers, along with what they have along the defensive line.
Yeah, I do agree. We talked about the Green Bay Packers being a really high-level run defense and having some issues last week against the Carolina Panthers and Rico Dowdle, so kind of getting back to the basics and performing better, and they did. My issue with Philly is that the lack of creativity. There's no seasoning in their cooking at all. It's bland. And when you have a guy like Saquon Barkley, get creative. Get him out in space. When you look at some of the high prolific running backs in the National Football League, a la Jahmyr Gibbs and what they do with him in Detroit, a la Christian McCaffrey and what they do with him in San Francisco, it's not generic. They utilize those guys to their skill set, and they provide a sense of creativity within the offense. How many times, viewers, watching this game, play for play, did we see 3 tight end formation, motion, Dallas Goedert, play action, a flat route? Like, we saw that like five or six times. Get some creativity going on when you have a guy like Saquon Barkley that could really, all he needs is a small glimmer of hope daylight to really make something out of nothing. And that's something that they have to get going on because he's too good of a back to be a part of a bland offense.
What we saw last year when he ran for 2,000 yards outside of the healthy offensive line, but Jalen Hurts being the reason why that backside defender couldn't crash down. We are not seeing Jalen Hurts take off and run like he did before. He's much more of a power runner right now in terms of where he's at athletically, but he's not getting out the back door and escaping and drawing that backside defender away. So it's very tough for Saquon Barkley because he doesn't have the advantageous box like he did last season. And we need to see Jalen Hurts get back to being a true dual threat as opposed to just being a one-dimensional quarterback, which is fine, but it's not helping out the run game.
For me, it begs that question, is this an Eagles offense that can win the way they're playing right now, or are they going to have to rely on their defense? But I do want to talk about how we did see another showing. It's just how challenging it has become to officiate the tush push. But did this game just feed into the future of what this tush push might become or might not no longer be?
As a kid, I was always rational and dealt with logic. Like, it's on, it's off. It's offsides, it's false start. Because I need to know, because how many times we watch this tush push or any quarterback sneak or any just regular scrimmage play
Attempt where their whole left side was offsides as well. So maybe it just was a bad day for the officials, but you cannot miss you can't.
Especially with these two teams.
Yes,
knowing their history.
Teams and knowing the history of the tush push with either side. And for us having the bird's eye view, we see it playing this day. And one would think one of these officials would see the offside penalty that was a no call. And to Kiana's key question, I think what we saw happen weeks ago with Philly and the Giants, when they said they stopped momentum, blew the play dead, no one else heard a whistle, a fumble that the Giants never got it. And then you talk about what happened today, along with what everything else that has been tied to this play. This could be the final year that we see the tush push because of how difficult it is for officials to do their job flawlessly, and then how much of an issue is causing other teams when things like this don't get called, and now you're going crazy over the officials.
While we're at it, is 0 on the play clock 0 on